Hello, beautiful soul being. Welcome to the Connecting Soul Beings podcast, offering you, the animal lover, information, tips, and learning on soul to soul connection, animal communication, self leadership, and all things spiritual. We will help you tune into the language of animals and the soul, inspiring you to gain a deep intuitive understanding of yourself and the animals. You become more connected, feelings of love and empowerment so that you experience harmony and joy. True soul-to-soul connection. Hello everyone. Hello beautiful souls. How are we all today? So excited to have you all here. I feel so happy that the community is growing. We have many new followers, many new community members, and I want to welcome you and thank you so much for being here. It is amazing to see you showing up and sharing you with us. I just wanted to thank you so much and honor you for doing that. It is amazing to have you as part of the community and for allowing me to serve you, allowing me to help you and guide you. And that's such an honor, and I feel extremely privileged to be able to do that. Now, because we've had so many new people join us, I thought I'd introduce myself because you may not know much about me. You might have heard about me, but not necessarily have had the introduction. So that's why I thought I'd pop in and do that today for you. So my name is Bianca Reus, and I live in Sydney, Australia. And I help women to truly connect to their inner self so that they become unblocked, back into alignment, and understand really who they are as an individual, but also understand what they can do with abilities that they may not necessarily recognize at a human level. And I call it spiritual abilities. And I really help people to get back into that alignment. And that allows them to reconnect to their soul, to truly hear their inner voice. And I love what I do because it's such an amazing place to be, to have experienced this myself and now being able to teach you about that as well. So for me, it started quite a while ago. In probably around 2006 or 7, it really started to ramp up for me in terms of my spiritual connections and being able to tap into some of the abilities that we may not necessarily learn over the years. And so when I first started, it was an eye-opener. There is so much out there that we consciously and on an everyday basis not normally tap into. When I first started, it was a whole new world. I didn't realize there was so much out there. And, you know, one of the things that I can remember is that during that process of me waking up, so to speak, is that I really felt quite alone in this, and I felt quite uneducated and not really understanding what it was all about. And it wasn't until I got introduced to energy healing, and in particular Reiki, that I started to realize, oh my goodness, there are people out there that do this as well and that have had similar experiences. So that was an amazing, amazing realization for me. And it really helped me to move forward and to truly understand what I was going through, to also understand that I was actually normal, you know, because some people may not believe that what we can do outside of our human capacity, outside of our understanding, that that's a normal thing, which it is. You know, it's very, very normal for us to experience that we may have some abilities that other people might not have. And I'm talking about abilities in a way that we may be able to hear things that other people may not. We might be able to see other things. We might be able to sense more or feel more. And those are abilities that I know more and more people are tapping into right now. But I also know that those people might not know how to apply this every single day and what to do with this. Where is it coming from? What can I do practically at this level? Can I actually do this? And am I able to work with this every single day? And do I feel confident in utilizing these abilities and this experience? So when I started to really develop this and going through it, it took me from understanding a little bit and then back down again to I have no idea what I'm doing and I don't know what this is and why me. So I sort of went from higher levels of excitement and new information to, oh my God, this is all too much and it's overwhelming and I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know who to talk to. Nobody understands me. So it went like a cycle up and down, up and down. And it wasn't until I really started to embrace it. And it was an amazing journey to really understand what I can do. Not necessarily why it is that I do what I do, because being analytical, wanting proof, and coming from a corporate finance career and background, because this was all happening whilst I was still in finance, that it just did not compute at all. But it wasn't until I let that go to actually think, hang on a minute, this is not something I can just do. It is me and it's part of me. And it took me quite a few years to embrace that and to realize that. And I think it really made more sense once I started to also realize that I could hear animals and I could hear other voices, so to speak, coming through from spirit. And it was really interesting because at that time I had 2 dogs, and it wasn't until a day where I actually went out onto a nature walk with a friend of mine that I was approached by a snake. Yes, a snake. And this snake started to talk to me and came to me and said, "Hello, can you hear me?" And it was sort of in my mind, and I didn't address that at first because I thought, well, this is really crazy. And I looked at my friend and I asked her if she said something, and she said no. And again, it came in my head, "Hello, can you hear me?" And a few times until it was really persistent, "Hello, can you hear me?" And that was for me, like in my head, I went, okay, I can hear you. But who are you? What is this? And now I'm going nuts because not only can I sense things, now I'm hearing things as well. And this is going crazy, right? So then the voice said, "I am a snake and I'm connecting with you because I want to make sure you can hear me. You need to go out into the world and do your job. You are to connect the humans to the animals." And I just sat there going, and this was all happening in my head. And I was like, whoa, this is really interesting. I go, well, I don't believe you. And I asked if the snake could show himself to me. And he said, "No, I'm not going to show myself. Your friend next to you is afraid of snakes and I don't want to upset her. So no, I'm not going to show myself." And I was like, oh, well, there you go. And he said, "Just make sure you go out into the world and do your job." And then it took off. And I was just sitting there going, what was that? And my friend noticed something was happening by the look on my face and, whatever I was experiencing. And she was like, "Something just happened. What is it?" And so I asked her and I said, "Are you afraid of snakes?" And she said, "Yes, I am." And all of a sudden she jumps up, wide as it goes, looking around. And I'm looking at her going, whoa, I was not aware of that. I did not know she was afraid of snakes. And that was my validation. And I explained to her what had happened. And we were both sitting there going, wow, can you even imagine if you can hear that snake? And so on the way back, there was other animals that were actually connecting with me as well. But when I came home, my 2 dogs, they, at the time, obviously dogs, as you know, they can run to the door and be really excited that you're coming home. And Toby, he all of a sudden stops. He sits in front of me, looks me straight in the eye, and he goes, "Oh my God, you can finally hear me." And I was like, whoa. And then this whole waterfall of information came over me. I could hear all this stuff coming into my head. And I was like, well, mate, hang on a minute. This is very new. I have no idea what this is. Can you please? This is very overwhelming. Because Toby, for years on end, he could just sit in front of me and just look at me and stare at me. And I would always tell him, mate, I have no idea what you're telling me. You can look at me all you want. I would love to know what you're saying, but I have no idea. And I know, we all have that, right? Where you look at your animals going, I have no idea what you're saying, but you probably have lots of stories to tell. So from that day on, I started to do more research around having connections with, animals. And I found animal communicators. I did workshops. And that really gave me some practical tools on how to do this more consciously and how to invite it in rather than it happening to me. So I felt more in control and more confident with, I can actually switch this on or off. So that was really interesting for me to go through that process, but that really, really opened up more for me. It really helped me to understand what I was going through. And it gave me a lot of clarity. It gave me a lot of confidence, a lot of belief in myself. And it helped me to fine tune who I am as an individual, not just as a human being, but also as a spiritual being. And from then onwards, and this was back in 2011, from then onwards, it's been an amazing ride. And it's still an amazing ride because, the learning, the experiences, the new things that I'm feeling, hearing and sensing and seeing, it blows my mind every single time. And I'm being up-leveled all the time as well. But the interesting part is that this didn't start until I actually had moved to Australia, because I'm originally from the Netherlands. And back then I didn't really have it that intense, although I do remember certain instances where I have always felt others around me. And I was always talking to others around me, but I could never see them or hear them. But I do remember that I was always talking out loud. And so when all this started to happen, it just made sense. Back then it was already there. And when I was older, it really started to come alive. Now it is so important for all of us to start tapping into that part of us that we can't necessarily see, that part of us that we don't necessarily understand, and to really tap into those spiritual realms that give us the energy, that give us the wisdom and the beautiful messages that we can use in our everyday life to help us to truly be that person, be that being that we are. And especially now, I had a beautiful conversation this morning with a friend of mine, and we ended up talking about coming from a place of doing, in particular now, with everything that's happening in the world. We have been forced to come out of a place of doing to a place of being. We are all forced to now just be quiet, be by ourselves. We can truly allow ourselves to go inward. We can do that through meditation or yoga, sit in the backyard. Yes, we can still go out for a run. Luckily, the Australian government allows us to still go outside to go for a walk or a run. So for us to review who we are right now. And I know a lot of people are struggling. And I know that we are now being put in a place beyond our control, being forced to be distant from other people in a physical sense. However, we are also connecting more in a social sense. And I would love to hear how you are doing that. How are you currently connecting to yourself? And how are you currently identifying your beautiful abilities that you have and what you can do in the world with those abilities? So, to cut a long story short, after all these years, I have discovered my true purpose. which is bridging spirit and humanity. And I do that in the role of a soul connector. I help connect soul to soul and to be really one with ourselves. And it really allows me to help you, to help a lot of people do the same with what I've experienced. So, and that is why also I'm part of the social media world, because that is a really great tool for us to connect and to learn from each other and be inspired by each other as well. So it's nothing but amazing in the time that we live right now to have us, and to be yourself and to truly show up as you. And yes, I don't argue with the fact that this is challenging. This can be extremely challenging. Showing up for yourself, showing up for other people is sometimes tough. It's sometimes hard. And even today, I spoke to my friend going, there's a block. There's a block for me showing up. There's a block for me doing lives at this stage, because I know deep down the block is coming from a place of I am asked to go another level up. Growing, discovering, and learning will never stop. And that still comes with, being uncomfortable. It still comes with a level of fear, perhaps. That is all okay. It is all okay. And you know what? By actually doing things, even though I'm helping people coming from the doing into the being, we still need to do things to be able to bring our light into the world. We still need to be able to do things from a place of inspiration, from a place of our heart center, so that we are being the person that we need to be to help others, to help ourselves. And that is the doing. But it's a doing from an inspired place, a doing from a purposeful place, a doing from a place of love for yourself and for other people. And that's really the beauty of it. And, and that's why for me, it's so important to keep showing up, even though it can be challenging and it is tough and it is uncomfortable sometimes. But if I don't do this for myself, I can't do this for you either. And that's absolutely why I do this. And that's why I love doing this. And that's why I keep doing this as well, from that place of absolute compassion, love, a place of giving, being present with you, being present with myself, being present with my family, and just being present with everything that is happening. And that's just, yeah, it's amazing. Absolutely love it. Love it, love it. But I want to know about you. I would love to find out more about you. So use the comments below, write down whatever you want to write down, share with me your experience, how you feel about all of this, who you are, where you're from, just the simple things as well. Love it, love it. Or if you feel a little bit exposed by commenting below, perfectly fine. Send me a private message in Messenger. Send me a PM. I'm very, very happy to hear from you. You can even send me an email, bianca@biancadereus.com, because I would love to open the conversation and, sharing stories as well. Looking forward to hearing from you. Looking forward to seeing you. Looking forward to honoring you. Keep working with you and for you. Have a wonderful afternoon or evening wherever you are, and stay connected with love and grace. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening to yet another inspiring, high vibration episode of Connecting Soul Beings podcast. I truly love receiving your comments, stories, and feedback. Keep connecting, as they are truly inspiring. The easiest way to connect with me is via my website, www.biancadereus.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn under Bianca de Reus. If you love our community and this podcast, you can help us by sharing and liking the show via Pippa, YouTube, iTunes, and the website. And if you feel that connecting soul beings and myself can help you connect to yourself and the animals, then hop on over to www.biancadereus.com and find out how we can truly connect and help you along. Thank you again so much. Stay connected with love and grace.